Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about my favorite series. Actually, hold that thought. Today I wanted to talk about my favorite series, which is the Chestnut Springs series. These lovely books right here. Now, there are some pretty great series that I've read so far, but this series stands out so much. Okay, I can't take myself seriously in this hat. This wasn't the first series that I read that had a cowboy romance in it. The first cowboy romance book that I read was Done and Dusted, and I really liked that book. And so I went on TikTok and I saw a bunch of other cowboy romances that stood out, and one of them being Flawless by Elsie Silver. I didn't know anything about it, but I remember people talking about it and it being really good. I was late to the party, to the cowboy rodeo. These covers specifically are special edition covers, which means that there's only a limited amount of time that these covers are available. I had to try and find aggressively these type of covers because I just think that these covers are the best covers for the series. The first ones that had people on them, which I never really like when people are on the covers, and then there was these special edition covers. There was a UK version where it's written in cursive, and then the one that currently is available in like the US is ugly. I think it's so bad. The lettering of the cover for the title cuts off. I went on Amazon and I got 4 out of the 5 books on Amazon a few months ago, but I couldn't find the first one anywhere. So I went on eBay and I had to be grateful that I at least found one. So as you can tell with some of these books, this is the actual size of these books, but this is the different kind. So you know, it is what it is. I'm gonna dive into each one of the books and give you a little taste of each book and see if you're interested in any of this series, because I highly recommend this series. I cannot stop recommending this series to people. And it's so funny because I live in a town where it's rural and there are cowboys here, there's farmers, and I've never been attracted to like a cowboy presence, especially like in my town. But then I read these and I'm like, where's my cowboy? But it's like, I don't really need one. The first book that I'm going to talk about is Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is all by Elsie Silver, obviously, because it's her series. This is about a reckless bull rider. He is kind of on the older side compared to all the rest of the bull riders in his career path, in his job, I guess. I don't know if it's a specific wording for bull riders, but he has an agent. Obviously, he's a famous bull rider. He's reckless. He does something super reckless and he needs to be on a 24/7 watch. Who does that watch? His agent's daughter. So she's sent to go to this farm where he lives, go to all of the rodeos that he has to go to, and like babysit him and make sure he doesn't get out of hand or say anything reckless. But as she's following him around and as they get to know one another, they don't hate each other as much as they first did with their first encounter. It's boss's daughter and client, it's bad boy, good girl. It's such a great introductory book to the whole series because obviously it introduced all of the characters and what they're going through. Also, you could say that this book is like a forbidden romance because it's a boss's daughter and client, and his agent says like, don't lay a finger on her, don't touch her, all this stuff, and then they obviously fall in love. And I ate this book up. I was obsessed with that book, so I was like, okay, I have to continue on with the series. This is by far my favorite book in the series, which is Heartless. This is so cute. I will read this book probably once a year. It deals with a single dad who has a little son. I'm gonna be honest, when Cade was first introduced into Rhett's book in Flawless, I was like, I do not find this man entertaining. He's gonna have a whole book designated to him. I've never read the single dad trope, so I didn't really know what I was gonna get into. Okay, so Summer's the girl in the first book. Her best friend is Willa. She is this wild, free-spirited redhead whose main personality trait basically is that she doesn't wear underwear. And I say that because that is how they first meet. She is digging through her purse and she drops her spare underwear that's in her purse on the floor in a coffee shop. And Cade, the nice cowboy gentleman that he is, picks it up not knowing what it is and then realizes that it's her underwear. And that's their first encounter. She's in town because she's visiting Summer, who's living on the same farm as Cade. Willa ends up becoming Cade's nanny, and he's like, I can't find her attractive, I can't like her. She starts kind of pushing him out of his comfort zone. He's super broody, super grumpy. She's, like I said, free-spirited, very young. There is an age gap. I think it's like 13-year difference. I never understood the single dad trope that people talk about until I read this book, and I was like, oh, this is so cute, because the way that Cade interacts with Luke, which is his son, is so cute, and the way that Willa interacts with Luke is so cute, and the relationship that Willa and Cade builds off of this is just it's adorable. There's so much spice in here. Obviously, this whole series is very spicy. They're trying not to act on it because there's going to be problems, but when they do act on it, it's so good. It's so good. But yes, Cade will always have my heart. Like I said, it's a grumpy sunshine dynamic. It's age gap and then single dad trope. It's so cute. I love this book. All right, and then the next book is Powerless. This follows not one of the brothers, because Rhett and Cade are brothers. This is a family friend to Bo, which is the 5th book in the series. At first, when I was reading this book, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, just because the first few chapters didn't really have anything to do with Jasper and his character development. It had to do with Bo, because Bo is a military man, and then he gets into trouble and people are worried about him and all of this because he's overseas. Kind of the first half of this book is really about Bo and how Jasper's feeling about the whole situation. So I didn't really feel a good connection to Jasper, but once it stopped talking about Bo and started focusing on Jasper and his relationship to Sloane, which is the female in this book, then I started to really, really like this book and their whole dynamic. These tropes that are involved in this book is hockey player. He's a famous hockey player. She has known him for a really long time. She is the brother's cousin. Like I said, she's known Jasper since they were probably 13 years old. The book first starts by her being engaged to another man, and this is not a very good man. And then comes their wedding day, and she's having all of these doubts and doesn't want to marry him anymore. So Jasper actually helps her run away from her own wedding. Things start to come up, and basically you realize that she has always loved Jasper, but because they're best friends and because they're practically family, obviously not blood-related family, because they're so close, she hasn't acted on anything because she just thinks that he sees her as a friend. But then they go on a road trip together, just the two of them, and things start to come up. And the things that Jasper says is just so heartfelt and so cute. But then, you know, he's a very shy guy. But you know what? All I'm gonna say is it's always the shy guys. It's always the quiet guys that are not so quiet when it comes to their lady. That's all I'm gonna say. I love Jasper. Usually I'm not a best friends to lovers type trope girl, but this is definitely really good. Then the next book in the series is Reckless. Theo is actually introduced in Flawless because Rhett is the mentor to Theo, who is in this book. So he wasn't obviously mentioned a lot in the first book, but you know who he is. The female main character in this book, what is her name? Winter. There we go, because summer and winter. Winter. She is the sister, or I guess half-sister, to Summer. I did not like her. I did not like Winter in the first book because she was very cold, very heartless. The way that she was written did not paint her in a good light, but it was setting her up for her book. Her character development in this book is probably one of the best character developments that I've read in any book, because the way that she starts off is, like I said, very cold. She's going through a lot. She meets Theo. She and him have a one-night stand. It's also an accidental pregnancy trope. And I just love Theo. He's a golden retriever. He's just so sweet and so caring. And he's definitely my second favorite in this whole series. He's just so cute. The things that he says to her and the way that he's there for her throughout their whole relationship and being a co-parent. And it's just, it's so cute, the relationship that they have in this book. I think this is the book that I tabbed maybe the most. I highly recommend. It is a accidental pregnancy. He is a bull rider and she is a doctor. It's kind of like it reminded me of like a romance movie, like the plot line of an accidental pregnancy and then them trying to deal with it. It was hilarious too. Like, that's why it's like a rom-com. The last book in this series I was kind of worried about because I really liked Bo. You know, he wasn't mentioned that much, but he was there off and on. You kind of knew what he did was very top secret. Also, this all takes place in Canada. I'll forget, like, when I think of cowboys, I think of like Montana, Wyoming, Texas, and then she'll write something like after it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot they're They're Canadian. He does like some special ops in like Canadian forces, or I don't really know. All his missions are top secret, so he can't talk about it. He very rarely can visit his family, so it's always cool when he is mentioned in previous books because he's not there for very long. Whenever he is mentioned, he's very lighthearted, very goofy, very sarcastic, kind of like life of the party vibe. And then, like I said, in Jasper's book, something bad happens to him and it kind of throws everyone into a frenzy for a little bit. But you get a little bit more, obviously, from his book, and so I was looking forward to it. A lot of people were disappointed actually with his book, but I really liked it. I thought it was really cute. The storyline, I've never read a fake engagement before, so this was I think maybe that's why I like this series so much, is because this series was a series of firsts for me. So single dad trope, accidental pregnancy, fake engagement, like all of these storylines I had never read before. He and this girl Bailey, she is also mentioned in the first book. I think she was like 18 when she was first mentioned. She worked at this bar. She was very timid, very shy. And then when she's brought up into this book, which I think is like 4 years later, she is more outspoken, more assertive of herself. Her whole family is the laughingstock of town. They're kind of trashy family that steal from people. She doesn't do that. Obviously, because it's her family, she gets grouped into what they do. Beau is having problems in his life. To get his family off his back, he makes Bailey a bet or a deal. I think it's something like an agreement. They are going to get fake engaged. One, because that will get his family off of his back and the plans that he has for his future. And then also with Bailey marrying Beau, because of how highly respected his family is, Bailey could be offered more job opportunities to get money. That way she can leave the town. Basically, the plot line of their relationship is he's trying to deal with his PTSD and Bailey's helping him through it. But also, you learn that she's a virgin and she finds him obviously attractive, but because it's a fake engagement, nothing can really happen. But the way that he treats Bailey is just so cute and so wholesome. Obviously, there were some spicy things in it, but overall, I really liked this book. I really did. I thought it was cute. I wasn't disappointed. I don't know what people were expecting after what he went through, but this is exactly what I was expecting, what he went through, because he's dealing with depression, he's dealing with alcoholism and anxiety. You're gonna come back with some issues that you need to work through and heal from. So they're both kind of each other's crutch, and I like the way that they lean on one another when it comes to both of their storylines. That's all that I have to say about this storyline. That's basically the tropes for this book, is fake engagement, she's a virgin, he's dealing with PTSD. But yeah, these are all of the books in the Chestnut Springs series. I will never stop talking about them. I want everyone to read these books. I think they're so cute. Which I know is not going to happen, and I don't really know if I want to read, because it's, like I said, it is a spicy series, but my favorite character in this whole series is Harvey. Harvey is the dad to Beau, Rhett, and Cade. When he is introduced, I just know I'm gonna have a hoot. Like, I always have a nice laugh when Harvey is involved. He's the grandparent that I wish I had in my life. He says the most out-of-pocket things. I've, like, cried laughing. So I kind of want a book about him, but also, like, he is old, and I don't know if I'm gonna read that. He's precious. He has my heart. He is my favorite character. That's all I'm going to say about this series. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it kind of gives you a little idea of what this series is about. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments, and I would love to tell you more about this whole series. If you like this video and you want to see more, please like and subscribe for more videos to come. If you want to follow me on any other social medias, I will have them linked down below in the description, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!